and it doesn't stay. When the dervish get done doing or the Sufi,
Sufi.
all of the Sufi rites are the rites that the women of these civil priestesses are supposed to be practicing
Mm-hmm.
because they want to turn their mitochondrial up. We talking about going from a 3 foot aura to like a 60 foot aura,
Mm-hmm.
right? And being able to instantaneously heal people just by the people stepping inside of the aura,
Mm-hmm. Mm.
right? So who touched my hem of the garment? And the Savior didn't see, but he turned around and said, somebody touched me. How do they
Mm-hmm.
know if you didn't see and they only touched the hem
Mm-hmm.
of the garment? How
Mm-hmm.
do you know they touched you?
Mm-hmm.
I felt it, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Right? How did you
Mm-hmm.
feel it? It was within the confines of my energy grid.
Mm.
When the person stepped in the energy grid, they absorbed the energy that powers the mitochondria.
Mm-hmm.
And the mitochondria powers the DNA, and the DNA began to activate as a crystalline light body in order to heal the body, in order for all of these things to balance out in your system.
Mm-hmm. So, mm, that's heavy, man. So, I mean, and these are the sciences that only a small individual, small groups of. Now, let me ask you this question. Different things like this, is this certain things that the sisterhoods, like your Mama Watsi and all these other sisterhoods, that they still have that type of information that they're still, you know, holding on to? I mean,
Well, you still have long lines of yoni priestesses.
hmm
You got long lines of doulas.
yeah.
You have long lines of midwives
hmm
that has been family tradition passed down.
hmm
The difference in the midwife and the doula is the midwife has access to Western medicine as well
mm,
as the traditional
tradition.
rites,
Yeah.
right? So they
hmm
normally will have a nurse practitioner in Western science perform the functions um, as the midwife.
hmm
Because she's a doctor and she can write prescriptions and all that.
yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Okay. So another thing, you know what I'm saying? I want to kind of build on Star Wars, so to speak. Not really the movie, but yes, kind of the movie. You know, dealing with, we know there's a galactical council that oversees this planet. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
What is the biggest? Who's beefing the biggest right now, as far as controlling the planet? You know, what's popping right now?
Right now, the whole Galactic Council is in a state of amazement
Mm-hmm.
that one of us figured out this scrambled egg.
Mm.
Right? They like in awe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's people from various places waiting to come in at the close. So we gonna see some phenomenal shit in the sky, and I don't even like talking about that shit because we got
Mm-hmm.
problems. We ain't even focused on the shit on Earth.
Actual fact. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's definitely understandable. You know what I'm saying? Yo, and if, of course I see the people in the chat, etc. You know what I'm saying? If y'all want to go ahead and ask some questions, because you know what I'm saying, we got the good brother here. You know what I'm saying? So please ask your questions. I see some shout outs. The brother Rod Hayes, some of your people out here showing you love in which they supposed to. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Mhm.
so people watching this, brother Rod, and they're saying, what can I do at this point? You know what I'm saying? What we hear all this, we starting to wake up. Can we? What's your what would be your? How can you assist to some of these individuals that might have questions like that? Because I hear this all the time.
Well, we still got to tribe up. We have to
Mm-hmm.
start communicating with family members that we wouldn't normally communicate with.
Mm-hmm.
We have to start organizing tribes. But your tribe don't necessarily have to be related to you by blood.
Mm-hmm. True.
So you probably tribe up with motherfuckers from 50 different countries,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's those people all on the same shit you on,
Mm-hmm.
right?
That's
But
true.
then somebody else, they might only deal with a certain group of people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like when you were with Black Magic and all y'all. brothers were together, vibing all together. I'm gonna tell you this, man. I was so happy to see that, man. I'm damn near crying, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, most of the time you see this, especially, in the 90s, and all that stuff, people arguing about, oh, the Sumerians are better than the Egyptians, I'm right, because, you know what I'm saying? It was none of that. And, you know what I'm saying? You really had a real good point because everybody's coming together in harmony, and I think that my personal opinion, is just that what you said is so key just because we can just accomplish so much more with
Yeah,
like-minded
well,
individuals.
look, we gotta respect everybody' right to disagree with us.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody not supposed to like us,
Yeah.
right? Just like everybody not gonna hate us.
Yeah. Exactly.
Everybody ain't supposed to understand where we at,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we all got a different piece to the puzzle.
Exactly.
Because we all lived a different life,
Mm-hmm.
right? We all live the same life. This should be boring,
Boring. Yeah.
right?
Very
So
true.
we watch the ups and downs, the rises and falls of other people.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to give us the tools to understand about our life.
Mm-hmm.
So they say, if God's so perfect, why did God create handicapped people?
Exactly.
God created handicapped people so you healthy motherfuckers can see the motherfucking handicapped people outdo your healthy ass while you complaining about your life,
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
right? So we know that this person is autistic or have Down syndrome or whatever the case, but they get up off their ass with their handicap and show you that the handy can,
Mm-hmm. That's it.
right? But
That's
then
it.
we sitting over here, able body, supposed to be a whole man, and we bitching because somebody don't like the organization we belong to.
Exactly.
I got a right not to like what I don't want to like.
That's it.
You can't make me like your shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most retarded shit, and that's where we getting jacked up at
Mm-hmm.
because we letting other people make us follow what they want us to follow instead of coming to our own conclusion
Mm-hmm.
based on personal understanding.
Mm-hmm.
We don't trust ourselves because if we did, you can't lie to you.
Mm-hmm.
You tell your higher self to get the answer, and then a week later, that shit just occur to you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You be like, oh yeah, that's the answer to that question I asked. Where'd that come from? How did I know that shit?
Mm-hmm.
Right? But we gotta activate higher consciousness and higher self-respect, love of self, knowledge of self, in order to be able to use that of any effect. You know, all these people talking about manifestation this and manifest that,
Mm-hmm.
manifestation this.
Mm-hmm.
It don't work like that,
Yeah.
right? Manifestation on you, it's the same as going to the gym to get buffed to enter into Mr. Olympics.
Yeah.
If you don't practice manifesting shit, your manifester ain't gonna manifest
It can
nothing,
manifest nothing. Yep.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
while you sitting there tearing down the other people that's manifesting around you, you could be learning how to make your own manifester manifest the shit you won't manifest.
Manifest it. Yep. That's
Just
actual
put it
fact.
in your personal manifesto. It's for you to
Mhm.
read.
One of the and I'm going to say this and as a question somebody put in the chat and you can deal with that. But one of the things I always think is very interesting because you look at life, from quote unquote a subatomic level, meaning, when I say that, I mean, you, you're not looking at it and just dealing with this mundane third day reality, even if we have to deal with it. Your mindset is coming from, almost a overstanding or an outer standing, you know what I'm saying, of what we have to deal with this third dimension. You know what I'm saying? Could you kind of build on that, the importance of that?
Well, the position you start with is why in the fuck are we here?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay, so we here, we live in our life. What's the point?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
What's the point?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now the only way to know what the point of being here is, you have to study how different people live life.
Mm-hmm.
By studying how different people live life, you might take some of the rules they use, some of the tools they use, and use them to your advantage
Mm-hmm.
to help you in your own life,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So they say leaders are readers, right? But if you want to hide something from a nigga, put it in the book,
In the book.
right? Closed mouth never get fed,
Mm-hmm.
and the squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Mm-hmm.
In the lingo on the land, that say that the wise one sees the problem, finds a solution, and makes a, a consistent noise before the people,
Mm-hmm.
so that the squeaky wheel can be properly oiled in order to resolve the problem
Problem.
that confront the collective tribes. This is not
Mm-hmm.
a one tribe issue.
Yeah.
This is an all tribes
All
issue.
tribe. Mm-hmm.
So all tribes from the land, on the land, have to click up with their family members, their tribe members, their extended tribes, and they have to raise a matriarch to give the orders. So what it looked like is when each group, no matter if it's 10 or 1,000, each group got a matriarch and they ready, they alert the resource center for the grand matriarch on the land, which is Mother Khadijah.
Mm-hmm.
So the resource center would be the local MGT. The local MGT are not to be approached by the men. That's not y'all job. The mothers are supposed to be telling them, we tribing up, we got our big mama. This her name, this where we at, this where we from, this is our head count. And the local MGT gonna say, okay, we need y'all to do this in order to have the proper structure for your tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Then they gonna give them the structure. When they get the structure, they gonna go home and organize. You
Mm-hmm.
finance committee, you on the public relations committee,
Mm-hmm.
right? You on the planning committee,
Mm-hmm.
you in the cooking committee, right? So we putting
Mm-hmm.
people in the position that they love to do the most.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Important.
Yeah.
Nobody's supposed to do anything where they are going to feel taxed and labor.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to do the labor of love
Love.
for the ones you love in order
Mm-hmm.
to keep the love in the air.
Mm-hmm.
It's not personal, it's just how the families roll.
Mm-hmm.
When the mothers get enough mothers across the land, they gonna let Mother Khadijah know what's going on. They gonna give her back a report. And then she's gonna give her order, and the government that stones blow up. That was the elders telling us that their plans have been destroyed.
It's a wrap. I knew it. I felt it. I felt
Look,
it.
you see the guide stones blow up, but you don't see where the explosion came from.
Nope, they don't show that at all.
Because it was an energy pulse weapon. It wasn't a bomb.
So they was putting them on notice, like, yeah, and this shit right here,
Yeah.
their
So
plans is over.
yeah, that's why the Pope calling all the money in.
Yep.
It's time for him to cash his bitch ass out.
Yep.
And get my sisters back their shit before I go over there and kick his dress off his ass.
And show what's really underneath her.
Shit, you better get a magnifying glass.
Oh my goodness. So when they're talking about, speaking of the Pope, but going into when they talk, we know they drop codes, but I know a lot of people on here don't. When they're talking about Prince Charles getting ushered in as the king and all that crap, um, what's the code behind that?
That's to give the appearance that business as usual. But it's not business as usual for the ones that know. Charles can't never be the king. He can't never be the king. That's why he was prince and his mother never crowned him. He can't never be the king. All that shit right now is a big ass
Hoax.
it's a big ass show. It's a Masonic show.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he had on that disheveled ass suit at his mama's funeral. Who going to their mama's funeral with an old wrinkled up ass suit? That's a cable tow ritual.
Mm.
The tie is the cable toe. Only thing he ain't do is pull his pants leg up.
So is he? Do you believe that? Or do you know if he is actually also gone and he's a clone, or is that actually
He
him?
actually he actually turned on his mom and them, and he working with Trump from what I'm looking at. But I
Okay.
didn't know that before this week,
Okay. Okay.
right? Because they was flipping the QAnon codes.
Okay. So with this next the next things that are coming up as far as Trump, since we speaking of Trump, um, you know, and they're for whatever reason they just really still dragging Trump's name through the well, I know what reason, but you know, at the same time I'm trying to give questions and to other people jump in and
So
give questions.
now it's a controlled narrative, right? It's a Hegelian dialectic: problem, reaction, solution. They need to have the people screaming what's on the hunter's laptop, what's the frazzle drip file, in enough what happened with the elections for real, and how do y'all know they cheated for real? And the people not intelligent enough to start asking these questions on a mass level yet. So they're trying to get them there using Trump as the buck dancing Negro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he said they want all migrants to vote for them. You see, they just jumped off a boatload of motherfucking immigrants on
I
motherfucking Kamala Harris' front porch. Here, you
what?
take these motherfuckers. That was a code from Trump.
Yeah, they dropped at what was it at Martha's Vineyard? Like they
Now, now watch this. Kamala Harris is working with Trump undercover.
I heard that. I remember you dropped them jewels. I remember you said
Right.
that.
And they picked her because she got a fucked up track record of exploiting our people. But she was exploiting them out of trying to stop so-called crime, never knowing that the motherfuckers who was creating the crime all was in DC.
Yeah. I ain't seen her. Where the bitch been? Like,
So the only time you're gonna see her is when she got a code to flip.
okay, because she ain't been in the scene like most of the presidency.
Right. See, first they trying to get you to see how many different Joe Bidens they using in your face,
Oh
and you
my
not noticing it.
goodness.
I
They
didn't
got so
count it.
many of them
I didn't
mugs.
count at least 12 of them motherfuckers.
Man, you hear me? Don't look nothing like each other. And people rolling with it.
Well, shit, they still think that's the real Dave Chappelle. What the fuck?
Somebody said, "What's going on with Diddy? Is his time finally up?"
Look, Diddy ain't what y'all think he was. Now remember, I'm I'm ride or die with Tupac, but Diddy ain't what you think he is. Puffy's whole agenda was to draw attention to the CIA and their dirty tactics. They was the ones, you remember in one of those Biggie songs, somebody called him up talking about you dead. He was like, "Oh yo, you soft dude. Oh yeah, you soft." And they was like, "Kill you, motherfucker." Dead.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the Jewish Defense League calling Biggie, just like they call Puffy, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Tupac told Puffy, make the deal with the JDL so that we can catch Clive Davis. Clive Davis put the hit on Whitney Houston.
Yeah, I know that.
Right. But she ain't the only one.
Yeah, I know. I heard he big time he puts hits out there.
Now you gotta remember, he owned LaFace Records, So So Def, Bad Boy, um, and he was a major executive of a major record label.
You sure he ain't got his hands in that one record label where everybody dying on? What's the Empire?
Empire ran by some rotten ass Arabs.
Oh,
That motherfucker that's the CEO of Empire, he the one who got the insurance policies on all his artists. He got one more left he trying to get. I told these dumbass niggas stop fucking with that motherfucker. He got one more. He got a quota he gotta meet or his family gonna oust him. But when they oust him, they gonna behead him.
Wow. He
So he
took
got,
out all them rappers?
yeah. Well, he think he did anyway, because you're gonna see some of them come out to tell the story of how he tried to have them killed and how they got away.
Mm.
Blood in my eye.
Somebody said, what did Whitney Houston do? I miss her.
This is why he wanted Whitney to do another studio album.
Mm-hmm. She couldn't produce.
She said her voice is gone, and he said he don't want to hear that shit. Go to rehab, take a couple of months to get yourself together, and get in the studio. So she offered Bobby Christina to replace her for the studio album, right? And his response was, he said, the world don't want Bobby Christina, the world want Whitney Houston, and you gonna do this deal. And she wouldn't sign the contract. Because she wouldn't sign the contract, he went to his goons. The Jewish Defense League is a paramilitary